Last week on SmackDown, it was revealed that Edge had his last match on his current WWE contract. And with rumours running rampant about Edge's future, and with AEW's biggest show All In just around the corner, should Edge go to AEW? We're going to look at the pros, the cons, and at the end, I'll make my overall conclusion. Starting off with the pros, the Rated R Superstar showing up in the land of All Elite would just be a cool sight to see, like how AJ Styles debuted in the Rumble, or when Cody Rhodes went from AEW to WrestleMania, or more noticeably, when Chris Jericho became All Elite. It gives you flashbacks of the old school TNA, like when Kurt Angle jumped ship, or Booker T. It just gets you excited, because most people didn't think it was going to happen. And since Edge is a through and through WWE guy debuting in 1998, it would just make his debut all the more surreal. Also, if he does debut at All In, what a moment that would be. 80,000 fans in the largest wrestling event ever, and Edge's debut was a part of it. I get goosebumps just from thinking about it. Another pro is the matches we could see the Rated R Superstar in. Matches like Edge vs Hangman Adam Page, MJF, Jeff Hardy, Edge vs Christian, we'll get to that later, and Edge vs Kenny Omega. The Rated R Superstar versus the Cleaner. The story is right there. Edge could talk about how when he had to retire in 2011, he stopped watching professional wrestling altogether, but Kenny Omega brought him back into it with his memorable trilogy with Okada, and the Cleaner could talk about how he defeated his best friend Christian at All Out. And speaking of Christian, the story just writes itself, doesn't it? How many times did we want to see Edge versus Christian? Captain Charisma versus the Rated R Superstar? Well, we can get that in All Elite Wrestling. Okay, so my last pro is that with AEW being a TV 14 rated show, it would allow the Rated R Superstar to be a bit more gritty, to be more adult. No, I'm not talking about that. I mean, because AEW itself is a more gritty show than WWE, it could allow Edge to show a different version of himself. I mean, think about what he did before the PG era. He speared Mick Foley through a flaming table, he got tossed into the river by John Cena, Vicky Guerrero got tombstoned by The Undertaker. Okay, that was a bit random, but you get my point. Now, I'm not saying that Edge should go through a flaming table or anything like that. The matches he had in WWE with the likes of Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, AJ Styles were all great matches, and I actually preferred WWE's in-ring product over AEW, but the character of Edge could get turned up a notch in All Elite Wrestling. Or if you wanted to go down the funny route with Christian, you could definitely do that. Things like the paper segment with Kurt Angle, the 5-second pose, heck, you could even bring back the kazoos and sing Kenny Omega's theme. My point is, whether it's a gritty dark persona or a funny lovable one, it will be a good sight to see in All Elite. Okay, so let's talk about the cons. Now, sometimes when a star from WWE has gone to AEW, things have fizzled out. Take Keith Lee for example. When he debuted in the land of All Elite, everyone was so excited because of how he got treated on the main roster. But when he got to AEW, he didn't exactly get the mega push fans expected. Now granted, that could still change, but when it comes to the big names like Chris Jericho, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, they've all been taken care of, with Jericho creating the Inner Circle, the JAS, and becoming the first ever AEW World Champion, with Bryan Danielson having banger matches with Kenny Omega and Daniel Garcia, and creating the faction known as the BCC, and for CM Punk, having exciting feuds with MJF and Hangman Adam Page, and other stuff. So I think it's safe to say that Edge/Adam Copeland will be in safe hands. Now we'll go to the overall conclusion. Will Edge go to AEW? Honestly, it would be cool if he did, but I'm going to say no. Will he stay in the WWE? I am leaning towards that since it was where he started his wrestling journey, but I could see Edge actually going into acting, because he said himself that he's turning 50 in October, and how long can he keep going in the squared circle? Which is a fair point, as Edge has had a long illustrious career, but with starring in movies, he's already been in a lot of them, such as 2012's Bending the Rules, Interrogation in 2016, Money Plane in 2020, and more noticeably, the new Disney series, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which is a pretty big deal. But what do you guys think? Will Edge go to AEW or stay in the WWE? It's an interesting discussion. Let me know in the comments below, subscribe, and more importantly, take care.